Hello, everybody. I hope everyone's having a good Thursday. Well, how is everyone doing? Um, Holed up in their apartments or houses or mansions. I'm doing good. For me, this is just everyday life. This is it. This is how I live anyway. I have been struggling with my sacroiliac joint. It locked or it's misaligned, and I'm in Monday was the worst pain I think I've ever been in outside of post surgery. And I'm sitting here and I'm crying. The pain was so bad, no matter what kind of movement I made. And I'm thinking, I need to go to the emergency room. This is so awful. This is the worst. They must be able to realign me or give me a shot or something. And I thought, I can't. I can't go to the emergency room or any kind of doctor because, so I've been searching the internet for the exercises that they would probably just send me home with anyway. And they all, of course, require you to be on the floor, flat on your back, which flat on my back is horrifying for me anyway. So, I try to do them in my bed. It's very, very slowly coming around. I uh, I can at least bend past 90 degrees now. But I still can't stand straight up. If you've got an SI sacroiliac issue, it is so painful. Um, I can't. I mean, there's a couple things I need to do. Mostly go to the post office, um, and I can't drive my clutch. So I'm just thinking, um, there must be a neighbor here that needs to get their mail. So I'll probably ask around about that. Otherwise, I mean, no, it's not fun reading about everything that's going on, and unless you are a Google, well, I call myself a Google queen because if any question comes up, I'm grabbing my phone or I'm grabbing the computer and I'm looking up the answer. I wonder how old that actress is. Oh, I don't know. Let me see. um, so I fact checked everything, and I am. I hope people are listening to Dr. Fauci and just Dr. Fauci or any other esteemed uh, scientist. That's all I'm going to say about that. As far as opening up our state, which is Illinois, I say go one more month. It's easy for me to sit here and say that because I'm disabled, so I'm not depending on my business to feed me or my kids. But I just have this, I don't know, women's intuition that this is far from over, and the closer we get to winter and flu season, and this virus comes back around, I think winter could be kind of miserable, very miserable. And I you know, trying to talk over someone who is trying to tell you that. be prepared, they're saying. And to have someone just bash that person or interrupt that person, the persons with the knowledge of the germs. It's just, it's not acceptable. And I just, it would be great if testing could be more widespread. I actually felt pretty rotten for a few days, and I was coughing, and what was my other symptom? I had a sore throat, and I was coughing, and I thought, well, this is probably just post-nasal drip or something. But I still felt like I need to call somebody. So I messaged my primary, and he sent me to, he said, from the symptoms that you've described, I would send you to this phone number, and it's a screening service in Wisconsin, where I don't think they have as many cases as Illinois, but that's because of Chicago here. But anyway, so I called the number, and she said, "Have you been, you know, out of the country?" And I'm thinking, I haven't been out of my recliner. But anyway, different questions, and she said, "Oh no, based on what you've told me, you wouldn't really want to have a test because it would be taking one away from someone who was very sick." I'm thinking, well, if they're very sick, then they have COVID. But and I think it's a shame that we don't have tests. And the more we don't have tests, the more people are walking around with it undiagnosed. The more people are dying at home because they won't give them the test, which would get them into healthcare. The whole thing, this whole thing is unnerving, terrifying in areas, I'm sure. And yet there are still states. I know of one that a Facebook friend is about frustrated out of her mind that has never been shut down or anything remotely done. And even as their numbers go up, nothing's being done to keep people apart, and so people aren't taking the initiative. Hey, we're not on lockdown. We're going to have parties and all this stuff. And she's out of her mind. You know who you are. And even like I live in a very tiny little town, 800 people. And I had to go out and run a few errands. It wasn't much. It was right here in town. But I wore my mask. And I took what was left of my sanitizing wipes, and I went to the post office and wiped down my post office box. And I went to the car wash to get quarters so I could do laundry. Wiped that all down, I tell ya. And I'm driving, and I'm like, there is not a soul in this town wearing a mask. And that's because we've not had, as far as I know, maybe we have, cases. And so, okay, let's just throw caution in the wind. Well, I have plenty of reasons as far as my weaknesses, my illnesses go, to, wear that mask, especially in a town that isn't doing anything about it. The businesses are closed because they've been ordered to be closed. I think they'd still be open if the governor hadn't stepped in. And that's, well, I guess we don't have any restaurants. We have 2 bars. But I, mm, I just think it would be better to just suck it up. I know you people are suffering loss of income by, I mean, if you've never lived check to check, this must be terrifying. I can't even imagine what you must be feeling. I, uh, I pray for you. Every night I pray, you know, that the country gets some of the things they need to get this place open so that we can wander around aimlessly and hug people that we love when we see them. And I've got a couple of friends I'm missing pretty badly, and I can't wait to hug them. I miss my son. He brought me groceries, just a few. He texted me and he said, "Well, how are you doing?" Because by this time of the month, I'm usually down to handfuls of cereal or something, because the milk's usually gone. Um, and so he drove all the way from Love's Park to here, and it's about an hour. Well, he can make it in an hour, 45 minutes, I think, because he does love speed. Um, but he, he's like, I can't see you, and I said, well, I know that, but he cracked the door open just to let me know it was there. So I got to see his face, and that was pretty awesome. So I hope everyone is finding the good things. Like the peek at my son, it was a peek, and I usually smother him with a hug. But it was the best thing. I grinned all day long. And I've got my dog. The next time there's a batch of kittens to foster, I'll be fostering a cat here and there, which is fun as heck, I gotta tell you. And just, I know this is hard for people that are extroverts. Oh, I can't imagine how hard it must be. I'm an introvert. I love alone time. So I pray for all of you. I do, and I seriously do pray. I pray off and on all day, and specifically morning and evening for the big prayers, but off and on all day. Um, I wish you all the best, and I hope that you're able now to see a loved one that is in the hospital. They're finding ways so that you can communicate with that loved one so that they're not dying alone. I hope you can do that. I also encourage people, and this is getting long again, to make someone else smile by putting hearts on your doors and windows, because I just was invited to a Facebook group that is celebrating us. Well, they celebrate the nurses and doctors and frontline workers, and it's just to let them know, man, we are so proud of you. And also, it just, you're walking down the street, maybe you're able to get out and take a walk, and it just breaks you into a grin. I mean, I have some on my window. I'm gonna make more after watching or being on that site, because it's so uplifting. So I hope everybody finds a piece of something like that every day. And I'll wrap it up, and be safe, everybody.